My Soulmate's a Slime by admay 1918 fulfilled promise. Shedding Tree. Noir sighed for the 10th time. Sitting all alone in that big office, with stockpiles of paperworks he needed to review and sign, it's getting exhausting. Many plans were discussed, but the problem of them was the implementation. And on top of it all, he has to worry about an upcoming grand festival? Talk about troublesome. Why did his master Rimuru have to go and make alliances with these nations who make demands such as this? Their ruler is good at these things, but this is not his line of work. He was in dilemma on where to start first when Milam and Ramirez suddenly came in the room. Oi, Diablo-kun. You are not thinking of ditching the upcoming festival, are you? I would kill you if you do this, Milam quickly demanded, her hands smacking his working table. Oh, surely you will not. Rimuru won't like it if you dismiss this very important festival. You are only the acting leader, but Rimuru is still the king. No? Ramirez added, her tone condescending. A tick mark visibly corroded on Noir's temples. These duo has to say that. They think it's this easy to organize something this big? This is no ordinary festival they're talking about. This will showcase the different talents of different supernatural beings. Looks to me you two just want to play and challenge everyone at the arena, huh? Well, I am sorry to bust your bubble you tweaks, but even if this festival is held, you are forbidden to join, he flatly reminds them, and the tables turned quickly. Huh? What did you just call us? Milam suddenly shook Noir by the shoulders like she always does with Rimuru whenever she wanted something. The prince only sighed, letting it be. He has to be the grown-up in the room, or this will never reach a conclusion. Why are we forbidden to join? It's open for everybody, whined Ramirez, her fairy hands waving up and down in the air in frustration. Read the rules. The likes of you are not allowed to join unless permitted by Rimuru-sama himself, he calmly explains, not wanting things to escalate. These two could be pretty annoying to say the least, but as if he'd tell them that. They'd surely roast him to no end. That is unfair. Why then are the fairy tale wizards allowed to join? Natsu and Wendy are top-tier opponents. Urza is actually a dragon princess like myself, and Gray and Lucy are on top of the food chain as well, so why are they joining? Milam really lost it and kept shaking Noir, demanding how things are and how unfair it sounds. Again, these two didn't read the rules. They just heard there's battle portion during the festival to be done at the arena, and they dismissed everything else. They're reserve members. They are not to join till we find some worthy opponents for them. Knowing those guys, they'd blow up the whole arena if they were to join as regular members. Natsu might even melt everyone, so no. Only then did Milam stop. So you mean, they're not joining then? She confirms. Probably. The goal of this battle portion is to help supernatural beings grow in potential, not to brag one's strength, Noir replies, showing them the rules. See, it's the vision for this year. Ramirez and Milam looked at one another, then back to the rules. I see now. You should have told us earlier, we wouldn't have made a mess, silly. Milam say as if nothing happened. Well then, I'm off to find some dragons to fight if I can, she declares as she kicks the door, breaking them off their hinges and hitting Rigard right on the head, who was about to open it. The poor Goblin King sees stars, his dizziness making him lose balance and drop to the floor, one of his shoe flying off. Noir could only face palm, shaking his head. No matter what they tell this demon lord, she just wouldn't listen. She always does what she wanted and no one can stop her. Wait for me. Ramirez chides, flying after her friend, not even taking a glance at Rigard, who now has a massive bump on his head. Noir sighed for the 11th time. What a day. The room's extremely silent. Beautifully colored magicules and Ethernano swirling, fusing and brightening the room, doing so for the past year. The flowers in the vases are changed daily, while more and more gifts kept piling on one side of the room from allies and friends wishing the Tempest's ruler's safe return. At the center of the bed lays Rimuru, his sky-blue silver hair having grown in both length and volume. His skin unblemished, almost like those of a baby's. Eyelashes longer than most girls, and lips soft and smooth like silk. It almost looks like he is wearing some natural makeup, but that's the thing. It's all natural and not a drop of makeup. 7 colored gemstones float, hovering above him, adding more lure to the magical scenario in the room. Silence. Master? Silence. Good morning, Master. Silence. Can you hear me, Master? Silence. Sigh. Dot 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 dot. Kick. Oi. Rimuru Tempest. Wake up. You are way past your beauty sleep. Wake up, you lazy bone. Ah. Rimuru shot his eyes open, his startled cry pushing past his throat as he sat up. What just happened? The still disoriented king took a moment to catch his bearings and gather his thoughts. Right. A lot has happened, to the extent that he has to devour his new bride. But that is all to save her. He wonders how much time has passed since he first entered sleep mode. His eyes caught the floating gemstones and a sigh of relief escaped him. Good, he managed to take it all back without a single drop of their powers going to waste. Raphael really has been a great help. Pause. Wait a minute. Did he just hear this skill yell at him a while back? Oi, Raphael-san, did you actually raise your voice at me? No, you are still disoriented, so I am sure it was just your imagination. Ha ha ha. You are right. I might just be hearing things. No, of course, you are right. Hey. As if I would believe you, I heard you calling me a lazy bone. I even felt you kick me from the inside. No, it's clearly just you accusing me of something I didn't do. All I did was wake you up. Rimuru rolled his eyes. Surely, this skill is a jest. Raphael-sensei, don't forget that we share the same entity. So I can feel you and read through your lies. His lips twitches, his arms crossed on his chest. No, master. It's all on you. Just forget it, you won't ever admit it anyway. One handful skill that he both appreciates very much and wants to throttle at the same time. She tends to always insists on the things she doesn't like to admit and pass all the blame on him. Yet without her, he might not have survived in the first place. Because of her, he had acquired many skills and now he's one of the so-called strongest. Anyways, status appraisal of my wife. Wait, did he just feel Raphael smirk? He could almost feel her looking smug. Cleary, what is wrong with her today? The individual called Mava Tempest is fully recovered. Oi, she's my wife. Give her more credit please. Sure. Hey. Be more nicer. I am the nicest I can ever be, master. But if we are to speak the truth, I was one who did most of the work in this mission. Who must credit who? Rimuru held his tongue at that. He admits without her, that mission would have been impossible at all. Mava was on the verge of dying, her powers depleted to negative. He has the brains but Raphael is the wisdom king. Right. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Raphael. You've been a great help, thanks a bunch. It's my job to guide and protect you after all, master. Now, along with Queen Mava. Yeah, so now that you've gotten your thanks, tell me about my soulmate. Mava Tempest, fully recovered. Powers are recovered and restored exceeding 100%. Aethernano origins are now untouchable and she has evolved into a master enchantress. Rimuru smiled, relieved at that. At long last, he fulfilled his promise to both his wife and Tempest. He didn't have to sacrifice one to save the other. He's just very thankful at this point. Use separation enchant to release Lady Mava? Yes, and Raphael? Yes, master. I wouldn't have been successful if not for you. So really, thank you, partner. I'll always be here for you, master. Thank you. A bright glow filled the room, taking the shape of a human as it was laid beside him on the bed. The said glow faded, leaving the new wife on its wake. Reacting to her, the 7 gemstones hovering above them filled the room with their enchanting colors before swirling around and inhabiting Mava. Rimuru smiled at the scene. Those gemstones were almost gone after they have cracked so much, but he managed to save them, though it took a lot of attempts, not to mention the trials and errors. Raphael had them analyzed, but the gemstones were too damaged to give her enough information, so the AI had to try different methods. Along with mending them, she too has to be very alert in assisting her master in finding ways to bring the queen back without having to sacrifice any of her abilities. Mava's body was like a blank space the moment her new husband stored her in his stomach. That 1% chance of survival out of 100, Rimuru made it work. First he pulled his own consciousness and dived into her body, so Raphael could analyze every veins and cells that were badly damaged by the meteor. Rimuru felt the pain his soulmate has to endure, as she has no pain nullification, unlike his body, who was peacefully and safely sleeping on his king-sized bed. From the outside, it looks like he's just taking a well-needed rest, but the inside of him is where the battle is raging. He endured the pain as he and Raphael worked together to expel the poisoned magic of the meteor that had gotten full control of Maeva. With Rimaru's consciousness inhabiting Maeva's, they were able to dig into her memories and found all the necessary information regarding her powers. They found out that along with her gemstones, she can transform into one entity per element. For earth, she could shift into a white wolf; for water, she's a mermaid; for air and fire, she's a phoenix. When Raphael talked to the voice of the world, it wanted Maeva's mermaid and phoenix form in exchange for the queen's full recovery, to which Rimuru sternly refused. 'Cause he could feel that doing that would take away the gemstone of water, air and fire. Those entities are like the life of those stones, and it would rid Maeva III of her powers altogether. If they have to defy all odds, they'll do so without sacrificing anything. Easier said than done. Maeva's damage isn't improving at all. It's even getting worse, and seeing that, Raphael depleted her own life force to stop the damage from going any further. Until the time Zareth came to visit and doused Rimaru's physical body with his wife's fairy heart. The said heart is the strongest spell of fairy tale, and Mavis, his wife, being the first master of fairy tale, was given this power as a beacon to all of the guild's members. Feeling that, Rimuru absorbed the power within Maeva that stabilized her condition. Not only that, but it gave way for Raphael and her master to find ways to totally heal and bring her powers back. It was a slow process, but they came out victorious in the end. That is all that matters. Maeva, can you hear me? Rimuru leaned down to kiss his soulmate's forehead. Open your eyes, my love. Our friends have waited long enough for us. And with that, the Queen of Tempest, the newly evolved Master Enchantress, opened her eyes, revealing her bluish orbs in response to the gemstone of water.